urge at this point for the ECOWAS.
According to the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, over 580 victims of human trafficking were rescued between the month of May 2012 and July 2013, bringing the total number of rescued victims in the last decade to 6,737. 21-year-old Cynthia is one of the few survivors of trafficking rescued by NAPTIP. She was trafficked from Ghana to Nigeria by a neighbor who she calls her aunt, under the guise of enrolling her in a school in Nigeria.
I was trafficked from Ghana to Nigeria by my auntie. And we were 6 in number, who promised to take us to school. Then when we get to her place in Lagos, she didn't put me in school. And I stayed with her, going to one place to another, almost like 9 people's house. I am going there, staying and going to the end, to the point I said I'm not going to stay with anybody again. So they
were using like house girl?
Yes, and all of them will keep promising me that I'll go to school. So when I came to Abuja here, I stayed with the woman 3 months. 1 week, she said that I'm not going to be going to school. She's working. She don't have time to divide herself to take me to school. She usually leave the house around 6. They'll take me to the bank and I'll stay there around 6. That early morning, she work at GT Bank. I'll stay there till 12, sometimes 1. When she closed, when I come back.
But girls are not the only unfortunate victims of this crime.
What am I doing here?
16-year-old Michael was only 7 when he too was internally trafficked from Imo State, southeast Nigeria. He was first taken to Lagos as a domestic slave, and within 4 years he was traded like a commodity. 7 different masters, who he says often abused him, including sexually. As Michael is still a minor, Mrs. Sanusi, a psychologist working with the rehabilitation center where Michael is kept, narrates the victim's ordeal.
He was taken from Imo State to Lagos. That's southwest Nigeria. From Lagos, the guardians, so to say, were transferred to Abuja. That's North Central now, the FCT. Here he was sexually violated, sexually abused by the man. The picture of the whole thing is very traumatic to him. It got to a state that he could not have bowel control. He was defecating and urinating on his body. Even sometimes he was bleeding.
Cynthia and Michael are among the very few victims rescued alive. The Director, Legal and Prosecution at the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons says the agency is currently prosecuting the 2 suspects who trafficked Michael and Cynthia.
The 2 cases are out now in court. We have arraigned those suspects, and we are hoping that at the end of the day, the court will find that our evidence were credible and we were able to jail those suspects and sentence them to not less than 5 years imprisonment.
Anti-human trafficking expert Mr. Abayomi Mighty highlights what more needs to be done to curtail this terror.
So our cultural beliefs that has been, destroyed, because the real African culture will not support any form of trafficking in persons. Our values have been thrown into the gutter, and it will interest you to know that most of these things, parents were involved. And
globally, human trafficking is illegal. Since inception in 2003, NAPTIP has arrested and prosecuted over 300 traffickers, securing 197 convictions. Yet this breach of human rights continues to thrive nationally. Experts are therefore advocating the urgent need for law enforcement agencies to collaborate with the public and help to expose the perpetrators of this horrific crime once and for all.
A very broad